right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So I have not seen this. I have no idea what we're going into. We're watching all of these interview clips as clips. Okay. That's kind of how I wanted to go about it. Shout out to Eric Salinas for posting this. We'll read what he had to say. He says Spurs haven't even broken the surface with how the offense will run through Victor as the modern initiator. He has the potential to be the most lethal primary initiator this league has ever seen. Seeing how much he grew and developed with the ball in his hands, orchestrating offense from months 1 to 2 in year 1 to wait, months 1 to 2 in year 1 to months 5. Okay, I get it. In year 1 to months 5 and 6 is something I've never seen. He is Spurs' elite modern point guard. He's just 7'5". Game. He's not a point. He's not a point. I mean, he can take the ball down the court and he can definitely initiate offenses. But yeah, he's not a point guard. Yeah, no, that would be like calling Jokic a point guard. And I mean, I would say Jokic is way closer to being a point guard than Wemby. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. All right, anyways, let's listen.
They're running DHOs through him with Philadelphia, Nick Nurse's offense. They're using him like, more.
All right, this is pretty long, so I'm going to speed it up just a little bit.
Like Jokic, not quite to that extent, but like there's a lot of centers or big guys who are playmaking hubs for their offenses. Do you think you kind of have the capacity to someday be the quote unquote, Spurs point guard?
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's the future of the game. So, I mean, you see that even Giannis, this is really the usage of all the weapons, and it's working. So I think I'm glad we started early on to do that, but I'm sure it's also the future. Yeah.
I mean, it's the future of,
He'll be the initiator and we can play through him. I just don't think he'll be point guard, right? Like, I feel like you can go on stretches in which Wemby could be the main guy that draws people in and they play off of him. And he sees everything on the court. So don't get me wrong, he's going to be really deadly in that regard. But I don't necessarily think he will be the point guard. Like you're going to need somebody to kind of set him up and slow things down a little bit. And I don't know if we want here's the thing. This is what I got to say, okay? And then we'll continue this video. I think that you possibly can conceptually have Wemby as your point guard. And I think that you could have, a little bit of success when it comes to that. But I think for you to be the best possible team you could possibly be is if you don't have to have him doing that. Like if you want to be the most efficient, deadly team that you can be, you don't want him doing that because there's so many easy points that you can get with Wemby being as athletic and big as he is. And sometimes, especially if he's in double team, triple team, and you say other guys aren't really picking up their slack, then you might not be as successful, but you are so much more deadly if you can put the ball in a point guard's hand and there's that immediate threat, not only from the point guard, but the threat of the alley-oops and driving people in to the point where now the point guard has so many different options. Just me personally, I think that you will get the most out of your team if he doesn't have to run point guard. Like I think for the longevity of everything, I think you're going to be much better if he doesn't have to run point guard all the time. I think that would be kind of wild if he had to do that.
In a way, because do you feel like you kind of grew up differently than maybe you would have 20, 30 years ago with the ball in your hands?
Yeah. And also I never tried to put me in a box, and always experimented.
Is that why you don't like to be called a center?
Well, did he? Well, yeah, he was a little bothered. He was like, well, I'm not a center. I'm everything. I'm great. I don't know. Is he really bothered by that?
I mean, when I play center, I don't mind being called a center. but like, yeah.
He's just like, I'm just not in a box. He's like, I can play anything. Yeah.
Otherwise, my position has never really been my favorite in a normal position. Really
puts you in a box, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think basketball is so positionless at this point anyway.
I own those shoes. Oh, crap. You guys can't see it. These shoes this guy's wearing, I own them. I own those shoes. I have them in that color, and I also have them in black. Sonoma. I'm pretty sure that's Sonoma. Guys, get yourself some Sonoma shoes. They're great.
I mean, you
Yeah.
have like 6'2" guys setting screens and rolling to the basket.
Mhm.
I mean, it's positionless in that sense. I'm sure with Popovich, like
Right.
your kind of a selfless approach to the game, that probably makes him very happy, right?
Yeah, I mean, she told me he was glad that I you know, I'm doing all I do for the team, and
Oh, Popovich said he's proud of him.
not trying to, yeah, I mean, just trying to get the team and like my teammates as good as we can.
What's your favorite
So-
part about being coached by him?
Oh, okay. We kind of got cut off there. So people that, all right. So I want to just address this because this is a very small like group of Spurs fans. Okay, but there's a few Spurs, and you guys have seen it if you've been on the internet at all. You've seen Spurs fans say that Popovich is a dictator and Popovich hold people back, right? Like, oh, he's not going to let Wemby get to his full potential. Wemby has to be put in a box. Popovich allows Wemby to be Wemby. It's so obvious that he does. Go back and watch the Bucks game. Wemby was pulling out every single thing he could pull out. If you're going to be a great player, you're just going to be a great player. Popovich didn't hold back Lonnie Walker. He didn't hold back DeJounte Murray. He didn't hold back any of these guys, all right? I've been watching the Spurs for a very long time. I feel like, obviously, I can be pretty subjective, right? But I feel like I've been pretty objective when it comes to things. Like, my credibility comes from absolutely loving Derek White as a player. And when he left, you guys recall, I was like, I get it. Same thing with Joshua Primo, okay? When Joshua Primo got called out for all that stuff, I was immediately on the, I'm glad he's gone. He got to go. Like, I am pretty objective when it comes to things, and I will be the same way with Popovich. If I felt like Popovich was just a terrible coach and guys are pointing the finger and Wemby's being held back and he's not getting, enough touches or what, like, I will be very quick to say, oh, Popovich he's lost a step. But that has not been the case, and that hasn't been the case, at least from our players. And Wemby is the most open, vocal superstar we probably ever had. No, probably. We've ever had. He's the most vocal that we've ever had, and he would have at least insinuated that I'm not feeling what direction we're going in. But he said on many occasions he's bought into it, and he's been given the keys. Okay, he's been given the keys, and he is choosing to do some of the things that he's doing. Now, obviously, he's talking to coaches and they're figuring out game plans and stuff like that. But this is who he is. This is just the guy he is. He wants to facilitate. He wants to win. That's all that matters to him. That's all he cares about, and that's what's important. And yeah, I don't think it's Popovich's fault by any means. So just want to throw that out there. Anyways, get with you guys later, man. Until next time, bye.